Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we are going to talk about another very important topic related to reactive form, where we will see how we can implement disable and enable functionality for a form group or a form control. Prior to this session, we have already talked about other examples related to reactive form. So you can say that this is the session which is in the continuation of the same, where we are going to explore how to perform disable and enable operation on a form group. Okay, but before we proceed further with this session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow it sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic. And for that, what you can do, you can refer the Sharmit digital course book, which is freely available in the description box. There you will find more than 3000 plus free resources, which is available in both Hindi as well as English language. So as per your convenience, you can consume the content without any language barrier. Okay. Alright, so let's get started. Here you can see we have one main file, that is app.component.html file, where I have noted down some headings. The first heading shows Angular codes by Sharmit, and the second one shows reactive form in Angular, disable enable form group or control. Then we have two horizontal rows. In between these two horizontal rows, we will define our form. Okay. So now, before we start designing the form, let's try to understand the requirement, like what is our requirement. And according to the requirement, we will design the form in HTML file, and for that we will define the prerequisite in component file. Okay. So let's talk about the requirement. So requirement is very simple and straightforward. We just want to create one simple form with two fields. One is for name and another one is for email. And also we wanted two buttons which will help us to enable and disable the form. Also we can add one button for submitting it, right? But mainly we need two forms button. One is for enable and one is for disable. Okay. Now you can see we have app.component.ts file also. Here in this TS file, we will define the prerequisites as per the requirement. So we know that we are going to create a form where we need a form group. So let's firstly define the form group. Okay. So to define the form group, what we can do, we can simply here you can expand this thing. And first and very important thing is reactive form model, because we are going to create the reactive form model, right? So for that, what you can do, you can simply go in this import section, and here you can write reactive forms module. Okay. This is important, and you can see now it is imported here in this import part also. Okay. So this thing is added. Now we will define the form group. So for that, you can expand this thing, and here we will define the form group. So I will simply write user form equal new form group. Okay, opening closing parenthesis, opening closing curly braces, and here we will define the fields like name. So in name I will write new form control, opening closing parenthesis, single quotes. Okay, so this is like if you want to set validators, you can add it here after a comma, but I don't want to add validation as of now, because I'm mainly focusing on the this enable and delete disable operation. Okay, so I just added one field for name, and the second one is for the email. Okay, so I'll just write here email. Perfect. New, and then we will write here form control, and inside this I will set the default value as blank. Okay. Now you can save this. So this form is also added. Now the next thing that we are going to do here is to create the methods. Okay, so to create the method, first method I will create for form submit, or maybe you can write it as submit form. Submit form, opening closing parenthesis, curly braces. Here I will write console.log. We will just simply show one message: form is submitted. Form is submitted. Okay, so this is the thing. Next method I will create here for disabling the form. Okay, so I will name it as disable form. Okay, opening closing parenthesis, curly braces. Here I will mention disable form. So for the disable form, what we will do, we will simply add one thing here, and that is this dot user form dot disable. Okay, and it's a method, so you will write like this. Clear? Likewise, we will add another method which is for enable form, because if user has disabled by mistakenly, so we should provide one more option which will help them to enable the form. Okay, so here I will write this this dot user form dot enable, opening closing parenthesis, curly braces, and save. Okay, not curly braces here, we will just use enable here. Okay, fine. So these methods are ready. Now we are almost done with the component.ts file coding part. Always make sure that these things are imported, like form control, form group, and reactive form module. Once it is added, now you are good to go in app.component.html file to define the further form. So for that, what I'll do, I'll write here form. In form, we will mention form group. In form group, we will mention user form. Then we will write here ng submit, and this time I will assign a method that is submit form. Okay, perfect. Likewise, we will define here the fields and the label. So first field is for the name. Then we will mention here the name of the field, that is input field. Okay, so input field type would be text. Okay, then we will mention here form control name. In form control name, I'll mention name itself. Okay, likewise, we will define the second field. So here I will write email. Then we will mention input field. In input field, we will mention type as text, not text. This time we will use email because this is email. Then form control name, and in form control name we will mention email. Okay, then we will simply create buttons. So first button is for submit, so I will just simply write here submit, or maybe we can write submit form. Okay, submit form, and here we will mention the type as submit. Perfect. Likewise, we will define second button, and second button is for disable form. Okay, here I will define click for disable form. Perfect. Now likewise, we will add the third button, that is for enable. So I'll write enable form. Okay, and here I will mention click for enable form. Perfect. So these all things are ready. Now we are good to go and check and verify the logic. So for that, I will run the application ng serve -- open enter. Just wait for a few seconds and then it will show you the output on the browser screen. So let's see how it looks like. It is running. Yes, it is now executed. So you can see we have one main heading, Angular course by Tech Sharmit, reactive form in Angular, disable, enable form group or control, one horizontal row, one label, input field, another label, another input field, 3 buttons. Now right click here, go to inspect, and after that you can click on console. So if you write something here like, let's say abc and abc@gmail.com, then we have 3 options: submit form, disable, or enable. If I do submit, you will see it is showing the message form is submitted. Likewise, if I want to disable this form, that means I don't want to change anything here. So we have this option, disable form. When I click here, you can see now it is non-editable field because it is protected, and that means the form is now disabled. Similarly, if I want to enable it again, so I can click here. Okay, so now it is enabled, again it is editable. So we just understand the concept, right? Now next thing what we will do, like as per the requirement, you can change the logic. Let's say if you want to keep this disable, enable on a particular dynamic logic, so that is also fine, you can do this. But overall the process or the method that you are going to build there is the same. Okay, this one, it's a very simple and straightforward thing. So let's say if there is a requirement where we want to create a form and we don't want to allow user to create edit anything, so in that case we can make use of this kind of functionality. Clear? So yeah, that's all for today. I hope this session is clear to all of you. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.